Here we go.
Shalom, 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 everyone. Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today is February 8th, 2026, and we'll be watching number 5 LSU take on Auburn at Auburn. So we have some fam in the chat who's there. Shout out Reese, long-term member of the chat at the game today. So wishing you a great time. I hope the girls go off and it's a super, super fun experience for you today. If y'all can, definitely make sure that y'all go see the team on the road, support them in person. Hit the like button on your way in. Make sure that you are subscribed. Hit the bell to be notified when we are going live. My name is Cheyenne. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining us. Shout out to all the members, all the subscribers in the chat. The game has just been pushed back from 1 o'clock, 1:05 to 1:10. So let me see if I can find it on ESPN. And yeah. Obviously, LSU coming off a loss in Austin, Texas, on the road now in Auburn, and looking to push back and pull out another one. I know we're going to be on SEC Network, so this one's probably not over with yet, and that's the reason why we're getting pushed back a little bit. So we'll see. Hey, y'all. Yes, Roderick. So Roderick said we have a fire starting lineup today. Today we do have Jada Flott, MK, and then Zakaya and Grace Knox in the paint. So I'm excited for that because I've been wanting to see that lineup. I do feel like Zakaya earned a starting role, and I also do not feel like Grace should have been taken out either. So if it's a chance where this is a game where we can see if that works and see what that gives us, then why not? So shout out to Zakaya and Grace
to have more
today.
performances like she had last game.
But here we go, y'all. I can't even find it in time.
To make this crunch time push.
Yeah, against
Father
Texas.
God, in the mighty name of
Michaela
Jesus,
Williams put up 20 points for the second time against Texas, but she cannot.
Away from any injuries, may they have fun, may they share the ball, may they act like a team, and may they just enjoy the game that they all love. In Jesus' mighty name, we pray. Amen.
Free throws and the first 2 points on the road for LSU.
Watching that shot clock, the discipline that Auburn has to play with against LSU.
Jamia Harris off the mark there for 3, and Flau'jae Johnson back the other way. Johnson, one of the double-digit scores for Mulkey's crew, averaging 14 a game.
That's another freshman that has been spectacular for Auburn, running the point, running and pushing in transition.
More playing time as she's moved into the starting lineup in SEC play. Tough inside for Zakaya Johnson, and that's just the strength and determination that you see from the freshman.
Once again, Zakaya is a dog.
Johnson at 6 foot and Grace Knox 6'2". That's small from the point from the post play in the SEC, but their vertical allow them to play big inside.
Flau'jae Johnson pestering the ball handler. And Mulkey can rely on both Flau'jae Johnson, Michaela Williams, 2 returning starters. Mulkey in the wonderfully successful career that she's had, and 26th season overall, 5th year at LSU, a couple of Elite 8 runs. You go back to 2023 in that national championship season. This LSU Tiger team in position to make a play for the SEC regular season championship. Potentially anything can happen for certain. And of course, the SEC tournament coming up starting March 4th, and just through the hands of Grace Knox, and LSU turns it over. Their second so far.
Now, Tiffany, you mentioned the gauntlet of the next 3 weeks of SEC play. I mean, anything can happen. When you have 10 teams ranked in the top 25 every night in the SEC, it's gonna be a battle.
And it's also going to be a head scratcher for the committee, right? And we will talk about that throughout and as we push through the regular season, just about how difficult it's going to be when you look at seeding right now. LSU, a 2 seed in Charlie Cream's latest bracketology. And again, a lot of SEC teams in play, 11 in total as of today.
Well, I think the number one thing that's on Kim Mulkey's mind is the SEC tournament. Right now, LSU is sitting 5th. The top 4 teams get that double bye. So she's wanting to continue to accumulate wins and hopefully get in that top 4 grouping.
Inside, Knox, no. And the Tigers of Auburn come down with the rebound. Virginia Bayoso with the ball in her hand, one of the 10 newcomers on this team. Played at FIU the last couple of seasons.
We were shoot around last night. Kim Mulkey was talking about with her team, when the ball is on the wing, everybody floods ball side.
It's an area where Flau'jae Johnson excels. That's where she could be dangerous.
Yeah, in that Texas game, she was 3 of 14. Felt like she was forcing some shots. Using her stop and go in transition makes her so dangerous.
5th-ranked LSU off to a quick start, an 11-2 advantage here on the road. Will step aside as well. Welcome back to the 2026 Play for K, benefiting the K-Yow Cancer Fund in partnership with the WBCA and the V Foundation. And Bob Starkey, associate head coach of LSU, has a strong tie and connection to the K-Yow Cancer Fund. He serves as a board member, but there were a couple of dates that were so important to him, and I go back to June 19th, 2007, when his wife, Sherry, learned that she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Well, previous to her diagnosis, Bob Starkey was the interim head coach at LSU, and he remembers being in the hotel room with Sherry, and there was a vignette that was played and talked about the battle of K-Yow and how she even was getting her part of her treatment on the flight to Fresno. And that's when Sherry Starkey said, she's so tough, so tough. Well, then in June, that is when she was diagnosed with cancer. And when she was diagnosed, it was Sherry Starkey that said that I hope that I am as tough as Coach Yow. In 2008, Sherry Starkey got an opportunity to meet Coach Yow, and Bob Starkey talked about how heartwarming it was. Coach Yow treated Sherry like they had been old friends because they had a similar battle in going through their battle with breast cancer. And I think that played a big part of Bob and Sherry being so instrumental in the KL Foundation, and even talked about former players. Tamika Johnson, she had frequent visits with Sherry. Sylvia Fowles, she would send her inscribed pink shoes.
Welcome, Bella Hines. She changed out everybody. We got to welcome 4 new players.
You hear the name K-Yao, the organization's namesake, who was the former NC State head coach, women's basketball coach for 34 seasons as a dish from Elijah Flau'jae to Koval off the mark. But K-Yao and just the importance of her presence, just not only as a coach in basketball and impacting the lives, but also her incredible fight with breast cancer. More than 2 decades.
Well, Bob Starkey said, we have made great strides in the battle against breast cancer, but we are also far from the total victory. This is why the Play for K remains so critically important for all those women we love and want to protect them, like his hero, his wife, Sherry.
It's just an incredible story, and so many who have been impacted by the disease. K-Yao succumbed to it back in 2029, but that Cancer Fund, who has done, or that has done so much, more than $9.5 million in fighting against all cancers affecting women. For more information, you can look up the K-Yao Cancer Fund or visit kyao.com. 11-4 ball game. It was Michaela Williams who got out to a quick start, scored the first 5 points for LSU. MILESTONE Flau'jae now on the floor, along with Bella Hines and Amaya Joyner. Some fresh faces along with Kit Koval for Kim Mulkey's crew.
Well, the depth of this team that LSU has, I think, makes them a potential contender to be playing in Arizona in the Final Four. I mean, we saw them play some of their best basketball against Alabama and getting contributions from everybody. There have been 8 different players for LSU that have been moved into the starting lineup.
When you talk about just how well they played against Alabama, hit the century mark for the 12th time this season, scored 103 points. And when they're facing off against a team like Auburn, who tends to keep their opponents below their scoring average, Carolyn, I go back to the point of, again, how important is it and what does Auburn have to do to try to keep LSU, the biggest scoring team in the nation, from slowing down?
Well, the biggest thing that Larry Vickers is doing in building this program, this is his first year, and building it on the defensive side. So you want to make every shot for LSU tough, and you want to try to keep them out of the paint. If you can keep them out of the paint, make them take contested twos, and then on the offensive end, being patient, deliberate, and disciplined with your shot selection, because you take bad shots or quick shots, that's like a turnover for LSU.
Shard with that last make on the other end for the Tigers. Meanwhile, for Auburn, they struggled offensively to put up points. And they're going to need a big effort from all 5 on the floor. As time winding down on the shot clock, and it's heaved up by Sanaa Richardson, and it rims off. Michaela Williams transition 3. No. Au'Jaiya Johnson pulling up to get that rebound. And missing. To put back in.
It's going to be tough for Auburn to get buckets in transition as well, because LSU is so good with their transition defense.
Flau'jae with the find to Johnson, who is displaced. She's fouled and will go to the charity stripe.
See, that's what I'm talking about. A quick 3, that's transition for LSU. If you don't have a layup or an open look, if you're Auburn, then you need to pull the basketball out, run your offense. A 30-second or a shot clock violation, at least you get your defense set.
Johnson at the line, the freshman out of Shelbyville, Kentucky. 5-star recruit, number 12 overall in ESPN's 2025 rankings. A very decorated high school career for Johnson. She leaves that second short, but a 4-time state champion, 4-time Gatorade Player of the Year,
She has just great toughness, and I love how she is so quick off the floor.
A nice find there, and then better defense from Johnson, who denies it. Johnson and the Tigers set up in the half court.
Love watching these two freshmen work in the paint. They're undersized, but they don't know it. They play tough inside.
Williams tried to feed it in, and Knox turns it over.
Ooh, and they worked on that for a long time at shoot-around last night.
That was something that Kim Mulkey felt like she could take advantage of. When you look at the size that's on the floor for Auburn, the tallest player, Claire Koulibaly, the junior out of Montreal, 6'3", stands the tallest. Close out not in time. And the two Tigers for Auburn wrestle for it, and they come up with it.
Claire Koulibaly, number 30 in orange for Auburn, is finally healthy and expected her to make an impact inside.
On the take, no. And coming up with it, Johnson wisely gets it back to Richard, the point guard, and that one zipped across the court. Johnson takes a dribble in, no, follows her own shot, puts it back up once more. This time it's true.
Yeah, that is the one person, big fault, Flau'jae Johnson, that Kim Mulkey needs to step her game up to another level and do it consistently. We talked about she struggled shooting against Texas. She's only been in double figures in the last 4 games. So she's got to be more assertive offensively, more disciplined in the shot selection that she wants to take.
Want to see this more from third-team All-American from a season ago when Flau'jae Johnson, who was one of those players projected to go out in the WNBA draft this season, and her skill set, when you look at it, can be dangerous when she pulls up, when she takes it off the dribble, and she can spot up and knock a 3 down too.
She gets that bounce today. The opponents are in trouble.
Richard, no. And Harris and the Tigers hold for the final shot. Heaves it up at half court, no. Close out the quarter, a 10-point advantage after 1 for LSU on the road over Auburn here in Neville Arena.
Sprout Smith number 3.
That's what I want to talk to you guys about today is the heart of what we do. Every day we go to practice. We do fundamentals, we watch film, we work on getting our game better. That's the art. But the heart is, why do you show up? Why do you keep playing when things get hard? Why are you still coaching all these years? Because of the heart. And y'all, we got to make sure that we continue to pursue the heart of who we are. The art of communication is using great words. But the heart of communication is listening and talking with love. And y'all, so it is in life and in everything that we do. There's an art, there's a schedule, there are routines, there's things that we have to do every day as parents, as coaches, as students, as athletes. But there's also a heart. The heart of, why am I doing this? Why do I continue to push myself and get up every morning? Why do I do this? Because I have to live with purpose. And when I think about my faith and when I think about what God has done for all of us, there's a guy that comes to mind named David. David was a warrior. David was a king. And David had a lot of faults. He messed up, although he had these positions. But God said, this is a man after my own heart. Not because he knows how to perform, but because he pursues me. And that's just what I want to share with you today. Basketball has taught us so much. Basketball has taught us about an art of showing up, an art of doing what we do. The art is highlights, but the heart is, can I look at you outside of practice? Can I look at you in practice when nobody's talking to you, when you're having a tough day? Can I see that heart?
Closing out a 2-game road trip here in Auburn. The Tigers out of Baton Rouge, who started off the SEC season 0-2. Since then, they've gone 7-1. And as we take a look at the SEC standings, here's a look at the top 6. LSU finds themselves right there in the hunt, chasing down a top 4 seed, receiving a double bye in the SEC tournament come March. And so the importance of LSU to
Man,
keep their foot on the gas with a
we really need a
challenging
top 4
schedule remaining
seed.
for them. That's Carolyn Peck.
Top
I'm
5
Tiffany.
in the
What's up,
SEC
y'all?
is crazy. We have to try to make it to
But
top
listen,
4
LSU
somehow.
bouncing back off that loss against Texas. When you look at the games they've got coming up, you know who their next opponent is.
Oh, somebody by the name of South Carolina.
South Carolina is coming to Baton Rouge. Game day will be there. I think that will be highly, highly, highly watched because South Carolina is sitting at number 1 right now. Tennessee at number 2. So, look, anything can happen in this SEC down the stretch. Vandy's sitting at number 3, but they've got a gauntlet of a schedule coming up because, Vanderbilt's got to play Oklahoma and Texas. They got to go to Georgia. Tennessee's got to go to South Carolina. Then they've got Missouri. Then they have to play Texas. So these next 3 games across the league are going to be something to watch.
And certainly we hope that you'll all be tuned in for the SEC tournament March 4th through the 8th in our ESPN family of networks because you just never know what's going to happen.
If you ain't got your tickets, I'm going to tell you better order them now because that tournament is going to be, there's going to be a battle every night starting on day 1.
6 points in the first quarter for Auburn, and they struggled from the field. But if you look at a bright spot for Larry Vickers, what do you see after the first 10 minutes for them?
Number 1, you held LSU to 6 points in the paint. Number 2, LSU only scored 16 points in that first quarter. This LSU team is a team that averages over 97 points a game.
Daniels for 3, and Soraya Daniels off the mark. When you're looking at pace of play, how can Auburn slow down this game because LSU likes to get out and run?
Well, I think first of all, offensively, you need to try to make LSU score late in the shot clock. Let it, if you can hold them, that means they've got to go to their second, third, or fourth option and get 10 seconds or under. And then on the offensive end, you've got to be just as patient. Now, with the tough defense of LSU, you got to look for the best shot, but don't force an early shot.
Johnson snags down another rebound. Aubrey Johnson now with 5 points and 5 rebounds for LSU. We talked about the 2 freshmen starting together for the second time this season. Grace Knox, Aubrey Johnson.
See, this is a good defensive possession for Auburn. You're down into 8, 7, 6 seconds.
Great find at the end there from Williams, and Grace Knox, who appears to be gassed just a little bit, will go to the free throw line.
Breathe, Gracie.
She was standing inside looking for it, and she brings a ton of energy to the floor, Carolyn. She's working hard here this afternoon.
Grace Knox is one of my favorite freshmen to watch because she plays, her energy is like it's senior day and she's a senior and she's just a freshman. And I talked to her about that the last time we were in Baton Rouge, and she said that's what she wants people to see in her, because she said she was one of those kids that didn't think she might make it to playing at this level at a program like LSU, and just wanted to demonstrate hard work can pay off, but you got to do it every day.
Fantastic freshman from Las Vegas, Nevada will get a well-deserved breather as my Joyner checks in the ball game. Number of newcomers, new faces for Kim Mulkey in addition to that freshman class. A couple of transfers. My Jordan comes over from East Carolina.
Well, another freshman is Bella Hines, number 3 in purple. And Kim Mulkey really compliments her about, she does the blue collar stuff. She knows where the rotations are defensively and just works hard to fill in the gaps.
continuing to get top talent in. That's no problem for Kim Mulkey's team, but they're up 20-6 here and trying to hold struggling Auburn team in this offensive possession. Single digits now on the shot clock. Koulibaly over to Duhan, and Caitlin Duhan can't get it to fall. Last touch by LSU, so Auburn will get another opportunity.
Auburn is getting open looks, and those are the shots that Kim Mulkey wants them to allow Auburn to take. But then you better make sure you clean that up by it's a one and done, not giving them those offensive rebounds.
Larry Vickers has talked about just the challenges that his team has faced offensively, a number of woes, but he says one thing that is not done is it doesn't dictate their attitude. They still show up to work each day, ready to go and try to improve and get better.
But isn't it a heck of a year for you to have your first year taken over in the SEC? 10 teams are ranked in the top 25. 10. That's hey, there's no warm-up. There's no breaking in. You got to go full force.
Well, they always talk about the welcome to the SEC moments for players, and I think this is one as a coach for Larry Vickers as well, just because of the grand challenge that it is game in and game out. Off the rebound, Malaysia Flau'jae, little flash there, and she's fouled. Flau'jae, who comes off the bench, the junior who transferred in this season, averaging greater than 13 points a game. And Flau'jae just so shifty and speedy, and also really strong on the defensive end as well.
Well, that flash to her game. Kim Mulkey likes it. You can't harness that. You got to let her go with it.
Well, this is one of the best women's basketball matchups of the night tomorrow, right here on the SEC Network. Madison Booker and the 4th-ranked Texas Longhorns hosting Clara Strack and number 16 Kentucky. That's at 7:30 right here on the SEC Network and also on the ESPN app.
Now, I'm a former post player,
okay,
but I love the guard matchup. You got Tony Morgan and Rory Harmon. I mean, that in itself. Now, you're going to have Clara Strack. She's going to go, against Cunningham and Carlton inside of Texas. Then you got to deal with a Madison Booker. But I think it all starts at the top with those 2-point guards.
I got to say this, Carolyn. I've heard you talk a lot more about guard play these days and this season.
Let me tell you,
as a former post player, what's up with that?
Okay, so let's go to Kim Mulkey, who loves to get those points in the paint. And I asked her why, and she said, the better post play you have, the better guard play you're going to get. Man. So with those posts battling inside, then it highlights what those guards can do.
And Kim Mulkey loves to play inside out, and great find in the paint for my joiner who finishes it off. Credit Bella Hines with the assist. The Tigers who picked up points the last time down the floor at the free throw line. It was Harrison Koulibaly.
Yeah, see, again, that's a good open look for Auburn. They just haven't been able to knock it down.
Tough take there, and it gets the friendly roll for Sanaa Richardson. Sanaa Richardson out of the state of Oklahoma, coming over to Auburn, Alabama to play with the Tigers. And there's Bella Hines once more, because she does plays like that. You talked about the blue-collar nature of Bella Hines, and that was a wonderful example. Right place, get the rebound, and that's how she's earned more minutes on the floor.
Look, offense is not going to be drawn up for Bella Hines. So how do you get your points in plays like that? You're reading when the shot goes up and where to come from.
Media timeout will step aside here as well. Bella Hines with the find to my joiner. Big ups to Bella, who's doing her thing.
Oh, Bella Hines can play in the SEC. Bella has a bag. She can get assists. She can do charges. She can hit shots. What? Bella Hines? Miss, you cannot guard me? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Bruh.
Burger King, celebrities don't inspire our menu. You do. And you say.
Coming up on the SEC Halftime Report, Steffi Sorensen and I will break down what happened with Florida and Arkansas a little bit earlier today. Also get you ready for Tennessee and South Carolina. What are you seeing here on Tigers v. Tigers?
Well, I think the pace favors Auburn, but they cannot buy a basket shooting just 18% from the floor. So,
All right, let's get back out there to Tiffany and Carolyn down to the Plains.
Welcome back into Neville Arena. Carolyn, Peck, Tiffany, Greene here with you. And when you think about what's on deck for later today, South Carolina hosting Tennessee, LSU right here in the top 5, and the strength of schedule for the top 5 teams in the SEC. That's no punk right there.
Oh, no. South Carolina and Tennessee. And for them to be matching today, I think that's going to be a fun matchup. You got Z Spearman that's coming off 23 points against Georgia. And again, Tiff, I got to talk about my guards again. They got a freshman point guard, Mia Paldo. She's averaging 12 points a game. Look, she might be the smallest player on the floor, but she ain't afraid of nothing. So I can't wait to get back and catch up.
Foul at 6:16 by Auburn has been changed to number 1.
No doubt. We saw her at Rocky Top, and part of that swim backcourt. Mia is an absolute baller. Okay, but when you break down that matchup for Tennessee, South Carolina, I mean, where's the advantage? Because South Carolina's got a lot of bigs there. They've got shooting on the outside with, Tessa Johnson and company against this, kind of unorthodox style of play that you see out of the Lady Vols.
Well, what Dawn Staley has demonstrated is her team they're like an amoeba. They can morph into different things. They can go with a small lineup and have Joyce Edwards at the 5. They can go traditional with 2 posts, Joyce Edwards at the 4, or they can go gigantic with, you put Okot, Adele Cobb, or Allie Turnabees, who's 6'6" and 6'7", and move Joyce Edwards to the 3. That versatility, I mean, the scouting report, when you're preparing for South Carolina, it's got to look like a Sears and Roebuck catalog we used to go through for Christmas.
No, wait a minute. They're not used to those types of catalogs. You got to put it like it's like the Cheesecake Factory menu. You know what I'm saying?
True,
like
okay.
There's so many different options there. You just got to keep flipping through. I can do this. I can do this. Maybe I'll try that.
Yeah, that's true, because I get that menu and I'm like, okay, where do I start? Yeah, that's kind of what opponents at times look at South Carolina, and especially the way Raven Johnson is playing right now. Some of her best basketball in her final season at South Carolina.
My Joyner goes to the floor. Jump ball, possession arrow goes with the home team. So Auburn will regain possession.
Larry Vickers has to come in this game with specific goals. One is you got to limit South LSU's points in the paint. Number two, you've got to try to keep them off the glass. Right now, only 5 offensive rebounds, and then you cannot turn the ball over. Right now, Auburn, they have 7, and we're halfway through the second quarter.
And here's the key component there. Of those 7 turnovers, they've not been able to capitalize on points off of those turnovers. Again, we saw a lot of that yesterday. Can't finish for Johnson, but that's what Kim Mulkey saw that she could kind of probe through and take advantage of against this Auburn team going over the top.
But Auburn getting stops in the paint. If the ball does come inside, they're making it as difficult as possible on LSU.
Larry Vickers, when you have some perspective about what he had to do, again, the short amount of time that he had to be able to assemble a team, about 30 days in kind of a scramble drill, if you will. Some of the key pieces or cornerstones have been a part. Duhan, who's in the corner, who's been a part of this program, along with Sarai Daniels.
Well, Vickers was familiar with the SEC. He's had to face an SEC team when he got Norfolk State to the NCAA tournament.
Michaela Williams and company on an 8-0 run here. And looking to go into the locker room with plenty of cushion. Petticourt back to Richardson. Kicks it over. Duhan for 3. She thought she got fouled, but that takes us to the close of the first half. Kim Mulkey's defense holding Auburn to a season low in points in any half. And you think about the points in the paint that her Tigers have been able to produce, 16 compared to the 13 overall for Auburn. We'll take a break here from Neville Arena as we send it back to the studio with Peter and Steffi. What's up, y'all?
What up, Tiff? And we were curious about how LSU would bounce back after that loss to Texas. I think it has been answered. Steffi Sorensen, Peter Burns, happy Super Bowl Sunday. So, Alia, 36-13.
You don't seem excited for the Super Bowl. Are you not?
No, I am excited. I think it's going to be a close game, and that's what you try to see. I was wondering if this might be a close game in this one in LSU right from the jump. Were you more impressed offensively or defensively with the Tigers?
I think defensively. I mean, when you can hold a team to single digits in both quarters, I mean, Auburn just 13 in that half. If you're looking for a highlight game, you know, that's going to be really, you know, highlight plays and high scoring. If this was not the opponent LSU wanted to play to get those kind of highlights, because Auburn's gritty, they're tough, they defend, they slow it down. And I thought that 8-0 run that LSU went on to close that second quarter, that's the style I think we were expecting to see. But to Auburn's credit, I mean, they slowed it down, they took the air out of the ball, and they made it a little bit harder. But when Flau'jae and Michaela Williams and Flau'jae Johnson are all 3 on the same page.
All cylinders.
And I thought they shared the basketball extremely well.
You see that. Just right now, when you go back and look at what LSU didn't do against Texas that they're doing in this one, because now we're talking about a 2 seed, right? We're talking about a team that can compete for a national title. What happens with them in these 3 losses that they had in conference?
That looked like rhythm, and it looked like unselfishness. The ball didn't stick. Texas made it really hard in the half court. But to have 8 assists on 13 makes, you know, to me, that's a big sign of utilizing what is their biggest strength, which is their depth. Every player that took the floor for LSU scored. And Kim constantly changing her rotations. I think she went with some small players. She had a bigger lineup with Kate Koval, and you know they got a lot of versatility with their lineups.
On the other side, Larry Vickers' squad right now 0 for 14 beyond the arc. So just trying to find something.
They've had looks.
They have had the looks. All right, it's always a look. And Tessa Johnson having a little fun. 20 minutes until tip-off in a monster game, top 25 matchup where South Carolina has won 53 straight home SEC games. Here's Holly Rowe with a quick preview of that one.
Well, is it Super Bowl Sunday or is it SEC Women's Basketball Sunday? We have a huge matchup today in the SEC. We've Carolina and Tennessee trying to separate themselves in the standings, both with one conference loss. A huge matchup here at Colonial Life Arena. Hi, everybody. I'm Holly Rowe, and we have got such a fun matchup for you today. Everybody's getting ready for the Super Bowl, but this is a crucial matchup in the standings for SEC dominance. Tennessee comes into South Carolina having lost a few games in a row. They're trying to get back on track under their coach, Kim Caldwell, but Dawn Staley said her team is really starting to roll. We do have a very fun storyline, though, that is a little love and football, basketball related. In the Super Bowl today, we will see a former South Carolina Gamecock, Nick Emmanwori. He is a terrific safety for the Seattle team. He turned an ankle early this week, but coaches say he will play in the Super Bowl today. And this is such a fun. Raven Johnson is playing in our game today. In fact, they have been so great this season, both as defenders. Nick's a safety. Raven is terrific on defense. They call themselves the seatbelt gang. And she said, we push each other to be the best version of ourselves. We pride ourselves on our defense, whether it's football or basketball. And this is a fun couple trying to do big things here today. They said that they make each other better on and off the court. And she came in with a great tribute today, wearing these very beautiful custom pants. She's got the Seahawks, his name all over. Raven Johnson showing out, representing, and she's expecting her boyfriend Nick to represent later today in the Super Bowl. We'll be back from Colonial Life Arena, 3 p.m. Eastern on ABC.
Holly giving us basketball, giving us passion, Super Bowl, everything.
I decided who I'm cheering for now.
I'm ready to go. Well,
remember I told you get back at me about 2 o'clock. Go for the Seahawks with Raven Johnson.
And it was the pants that did it. I love that about it. This matchup, it takes a little bit of an interesting turn. We see the official injury report. A couple of names have shown up for the Gamecocks. Who are they and how will it affect this game?
Well, right now it's Agot McKeer and Maddie McDaniel. And those are 2 players that provide some relief from Raven Johnson at that backup point guard position. You think about Tennessee, will play 10 deep. Kim Caldwell, substitute, right? And they've got a freshman point guard who's playing sensational. So freshman against senior and Raven Johnson, but who's going to help her? So I think Dawn Staley's going to have to get a little creative, maybe bring Joyce Edwards to the 3 and go big. And, that definitely changes things because of that lack of depth at that point guard position. Raven Johnson,
you know what Tennessee wants to do?
Yeah.
Up and down the court the entire time. We'll see if that can kind of change something over Colonial Life, where the Gamecocks can continue that streak of 53 straight home wins against SEC opponents. Kayla Williams, bucket. Tigers over the Tigers right now. Second half coming up.
All right, y'all. It is halftime for this game. LSU, let me pull up the stats first real quick. All right, 36-13. LSU is on an 8-0 run over the last 2 minutes and 12 seconds. LSU has hit 4 of their last 5 field goals. Let's see who's leading. Michaela Williams leading in points with 10. Flau'jae Johnson leading with 7 rebounds and 3 assists. Flau'jae is already has 7 points, 3 for 6 from the floor, 1 for 2 from three, 1 offensive rebound, 6 defensive rebounds, 3 assists, 1 foul, 2 turnovers. 15 minutes played so far. Z 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block. Mm, I would like to see her get some more touches offensively. 2 3s attempted, got to the line, got 2 rebounds.
Yesterday, it was a wild day in SEC hoops. The Florida
Fun day.
Gators,
Oh, that's
especially
You guys
the
were doing
Florida
great.
Gator, they defeated Texas A&M.
mm, still 6 for 13 on layups. Would definitely love to see us fix that, and that's just as a team. We're 6 for 13. Do y'all remember Honesty Scott Grayson? Honesty Scott Grayson for Auburn, honey. I don't know what the situation was with her and Mulkey, but anytime we had to play them, bro, we had to hear about that, and we had to hear about she would like, bro, she was a monster every time we played them. You remember her? Yeah, bro. Honesty Scott Grayson, honey. Her and Miss Johnny. She used to cook us. What did she say Mulkey did to her? I don't know if Mulkey didn't recruit her, if she didn't come. It was something about she had it out for our coach, baby. Every time she played us. I remember that one time um we played them at their crib. But that's one of our funniest games. That Auburn game, Angel in the SEC tournament, honey, we was ready. We was ready for. She played at Baylor her freshman year. Okay, okay. I never knew like the full story. I just knew that she used to cook us. Well, y'all, just let me know. We do have a week off. We don't play on Thursday. We do play on Saturday upcoming. LSU versus South Carolina in the PMAC. That game's gonna be at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Um, and like game day is gonna be there. College game day. Andrea Carter. It'll be a movie. The PMAX pretty much sold out. Like it's all off market tickets left. And it's Valentine's Day. It's going to be fun. Two minutes until we come back. Now you know ain't nobody said they was looking for the man. $803, 1,967, all the way up at the top for 142. Mind you, they went in and they didn't bought all of the tickets and then put it on the resale market. They should have just let people get tickets. They be doing that with concerts and everything. I don't like that. I don't think I can watch. Yeah, them games are always funny.
The KL Cancer Fund
All
in
right,
partnership with
we
the
should be coming back.
WBCA
We have
and the V Foundation, the Recycled Teenagers, took the court at halftime. They had us moving and grooving too. Carolyn, that was so much fun. There was like a shout out to Prince, a tribute to him, and I liked your moves.
Well, I like their outfits. I mean, they had the lace with the symbol on front.
They had the lace, but they had the face.
Oh,
serve. Okay, all the way. All right. Taking a look at those first half highlights, it was Michaela Williams who was again the integral part of LSU's offense.
Look, she either scored or assisted on 15 of LSU's 36 points, but she made her presence felt early. You got to have a strong move, then you can have a counter move, and that's where Auburn Johnson picked it up. She was running the floor in transition. She made herself available inside in the post, said, give me that. She may be 6 foot, but she plays big inside. That freshman is getting it done for the LSU Tigers.
All 9 Tigers that have touched the floor for LSU have scored. Meanwhile, their defense held Auburn to a season low 4.5.
Right away, going to a post up to Michaela Williams inside. She's not able to finish. Now, Auburn's got to find, they've got to find some offense. And right now, the clog is paint. They need one of these outside shots to fall, and they got to take care of the basketball.
Off the steal in transition. No on the fast break layup for Jada Richard. And it's going to be Auburn basketball. Kim Mulkey asking for an appeal here on that last play to see who last touched it. One of the 4 things that you can review. And so Joseph Vasily is going to go to the monitor along with Natasha Cami. And
the out of bounds play has been appealed by LSU.
We'll step aside, give you the call when we come back.
Yes, actually. Prayers to Rikia Jackson. God bless her. Like, so disgusting. What the reports are reading. So sad. So sad for her. Definitely praying for her. Sincerely.
of the appeal is successful. It will be LSU ball on the end line. The shot clock has been set to 23 seconds. 23 seconds.
Kim Mulkey going
Successful.
with her point guard. She said immediately, you see that? Nope, it's our basketball. And she turns right around and says, let's go for an appeal.
Well, and this is where you develop trust in your players. Richard saw that it went off Auburn. Kim Mulkey trusted it, and that's why she asked for the appeal.
Koulibaly kicks it in the corner.
But you see, the ball is being passed around the perimeter.
We didn't see enough of that in the first half, Carolyn, in terms of just the hard, aggressive takes to the basket. There were a lot of open looks and good shots for Auburn that just didn't fall. For Jamia Harris back at the free throw line, Larry Vickers, as he's looking to see some improvement here in this second half, wants to see more of that.
Well, I think that in the first half, Auburn settled for way too many three-point shots. They were 0 for 14 from 3.
And Jamia Harris, who we mentioned, had her best performance in SEC play with 18 points, 7 rebounds in that loss to Florida Thursday.
Well, in the vertical, do you see that little hang time, gather, on balance, off 2 feet for the finish?
Making the most of yet another start here during SEC play, her 3rd in conference.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is a freshman. Off the pick and roll gather, that hang time, and the ability to use the glass.
4 of 7 from the floor for Aubrey Johnson. Well off the mark there. Michaela Williams is fouled as she sticks it in. First points off of a turnover for LSU this afternoon. And Williams continuing to add to her point total. Now with a dozen points this afternoon. A junior out of Bossier City, Louisiana.
Yeah, Michaela Williams, look, she's playing some of her best basketball in her junior season. She's shooting over 50% from the floor, over 40% from the three-point line.
Koulibaly had it stripped on the way up. And 15 seconds remain on the shot clock for Auburn.
Now, here's the thing that LSU has got to do for the remainder of this half. You don't want to make that negative highlight tape that Kim Mulkey is going to make as they go on. They're preparing to play their next game, which is South Carolina. They're also preparing for March. So you cannot start clock watching. You've got to maintain your intensity and your discipline, even though you've got a big lead.
Duhan asking for Koulibaly to come take it. She's got it. 7 on the shot clock. Spin move in the lane. Rolls off. Williams gets it over to Richard. Johnson, who wanted it initially, tried to get set up. Jump ball. And wisely tying up Richard as Caitlin Duhan causing that jump ball possession arrow for the Tigers in orange. All new Auburn team, first year head coach Larry Vickers. In his first season on the Plains. And you go back just a couple of years ago, it was a different style of Auburn team who took down LSU right here in Neville Arena.
Yeah, Honesty Scott Grayson had herself a day, and Jemai Mingo Young was huge. That little guard played with no fear going up against LSU.
It was the last time they knocked off first fast break points of the afternoon as Caitlin Duhan finishes it off with the right hand. Well, we hear so frequently about everyone talking about how tough the SEC is, whether you're first entering into the conference or if you've been here for a while. Larry Vickers taking over for Johnny Harris, you mentioned, hired March 23rd of 2025. Only a couple of returners, no returning starters were back for him, so he had to build a practically new team, and his staff get to work quickly.
Yeah, what I like about what Larry Vickers is building here is a defensive mentality, because in this SEC, that's where you've got to battle. But you also, as Pat Summitt said, you don't take donkeys to the Kentucky Derby. He's got to get him some horses, and recruiting, now that he'll have, this whole next off season to do some recruiting and attract some talent to come here to play.
As you're looking at areas of wins, if you will, thus far, I mean, you're taking the top scoring team in the nation right now. They've got 45 points, just more than halfway through, or just under halfway through the third quarter. So playing their pace of game.
Well, and when you look at the remaining schedule that Auburn has, they only have one ranked team. That is Kentucky, but there's no gimmies now because they got to play Texas A&M, Missouri, Georgia, and Arkansas.
Contact in the lane there, and Flau'jae Johnson will go to the line. Coulibaly whistled for the personal foul. Flau'jae Johnson, team's leading scorer, coming in. She can create, she can just do so much, as we let you know that this is our SEC Network Tuesday night men's basketball doubleheader. And it's number 15, Vanderbilt, coming right here to the Plains, followed by Arkansas at LSU. That's coming your way Tuesday. We're also on the ESPN app, and a blocking foul coming back the other way quickly up the floor as Jada Richard is whistled for the foul. That's her third. Richard, who had a tough day at the office against Texas, just 1 of 10 from the floor, only 2 points. That snapped a streak of 6 straight games in double figures. But we'll go back just a few games before. Been really impressed with the way that she is both played and led this Tiger team.
When you got to understand that Richard is a sophomore, and so there are going to be ebbs and flows. She didn't play very much her freshman year, so learning through those mistakes in the fourth quarter against Texas, that's where things kind of came unraveled, and that's where the point guard has got to take charge, especially in a tough game like that one. Talking to Kim Mulkey, and she said she didn't call a timeout in that fourth quarter because those are lessons and things that her team's got to play through and try to figure out.
Malaysia Fulwale nicked a piece of that one. Duhan almost came away with the steal. Zakiya Johnson full steam ahead, and she's rewarded with 2. Which Zakiya Johnson just keeps on getting better and better. We talked about just the young talent that LSU has assembled on this team. 14 points now for Johnson.
And 7 rebounds. She's got to go along with that.
Clara Coulibaly tracks it down. 5 to go on the shot clock. And a foul going against LSU.
There is a timeout on the floor.
Timeout on the floor. 4:56 remaining in the third. Come back with us to the Plains.
wish they have your back.
Remember when she used to take the court for Auburn? Ruthie Bolton, the former Tiger guard in the late 80s, women's basketball Hall of Famer, went on to win a couple of gold medals as well, getting her due. She was the special letter holder here in this timeout break, and of course, you know you're important. You know you did something when you got your name hanging in the rafters.
Absolutely. And Ruthie Bolton, she's in the WBCA Hall of Fame. She won a championship with the Sacramento Monarchs, a WNBA All-Star, and I think that definitely, when you bring alum like that back, will help Larry Vickers in his recruiting.
I was going to say the importance of having those familiar faces, your Ruthie Boltons, your DeWanna Bonners, to be able to come back into the fold and really pour into a program that produced champions.
There were some greats here. You had Vicky Orr, CJ, Carolyn Jones was a baller here as well.
Flau'jae over to Mylesia Full-Wiley. This LSU team below their scoring average thus far, as it was a slow start there in the first half, but you know that this team can kick it into gear at any time. One of the things that Larry Vickers talked about in terms of preparation against a team like LSU and the pace that they play, he says, look, we've already faced off against teams like Tennessee, like Oklahoma, so we're used to this speed that we typically see out of a team like LSU.
Well, and his kids are competing. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, the work hard, the want to, the effort is there.
After those free throws, Amaya Joyner checks back in as Kate Koval takes a seat. Richardson hauled in by Baseo. Au'Jai Johnson.
If there's anybody on the court that Michaela Williams is going to find, it is going to be a wide open Flau'jae.
Good take there, just couldn't finish for Lay. You saw and heard the reaction in the arena. There's a decent amount of LSU fans that showed up here this afternoon in Auburn.
Well, you can always tell LSU fans because there's some form of glitter you're going to be able to find in the stands.
Our own is
and
there.
They don't
Shout
discriminate,
out
men and women.
Right.
They bring out the sparkle.
Shout out Reese, man.
You got to have the sequence, you know, and all because inspired by, you know, Kim Mulkey, because she always has a glamorous, you know, sequence, glittery kind of look. This jacket, a little bit more tame. You know, it's just...
Yeah, but we were just there last Thursday, and a fan sent Kim Mulkey a jacket that they had made, and the box itself had a picture of Pat Summitt coaching Kim Mulkey, and that meant so much to her. She wore the jacket to practice.
I love that. And just the giving nature. Women's basketball fans are so special, right? And just tying the threads and pieces together of the past and connecting them to now and showing the love. So super dope.
Well, and where women's basketball is right now, it's great talent every year. It takes another step.
They work
that when
so
you turn
hard.
the TV
They
on,
work
you're gonna
so
see
hard
great
down
players
there.
like a Michaela Williams, a
My
Flau'jae
ran that
Johnson,
whole thing.
be able to come
I like
out
that.
and
Where
really
you at, Roderick?
demonstrate the amount of work that they put in to be as good as they are.
And the leadership you see right there from Flau'jae Johnson. Hey, going over to my joiner. There was a missed opportunity there for a lay-in. That's all right. Keep your head up. You got to love, too, just the way that they have developed as leaders as well, because this is Flau'jae's team. This is her final season, along with Michaela Williams, who's a junior. They're the upperclassmen and the leaders of this bunch. Grace Knox coming in for Auburn Johnson. Johnson, who has been terrific this afternoon, leading all scorers with 16 points.
When you look at, and you're talking about Flau'jae Johnson, she came into this game needing 100 points to reach 2,000 in her career. That puts her in the same category as a Joyce Walker, a Simone Augustus, Julie Gross, and Cornelia Gayden, some of the greats that played at LSU.
And look, she's not that far away from getting in spot number 6 with Kayla Pointer. But you talk about a Simone Augustus, the Final Fours that she went to with this LSU program, going on to be a 4-time champion in the WNBA, a Hall of Famer indeed. And Money Moan, I mean, she was queen of the mid-range.
Oh,
Nobody did it better. And I know Madison Booker has got a lot of love, but let's give some love right here to Harrison Koulibaly, the freshman. The takeaway and take it in for 2.
Yeah, Koulibaly is only a freshman. When she realizes how good she really is, because off the bounce and her athleticism, you see her getting the steal here, the attack, body control, focus, and the finish. This freshman's going to be special.
Top 100 player, according to ESPN, and originally from Mali, moved to France as a teenager before coming here to the States.
Yeah, she got moved into the starting lineup in the SEC season, and Larry Vickers talked about it. He didn't want to move. Duhan took that one on the chin.
You see, that's an element of toughness from Caitlin Duhan, a redshirt junior out of Houston, Texas. The strongest defender on the floor. And sacrificing her body there.
Vickers been talking about Koulibaly not starting her until SEC play, wanted to really work her in, let her experience the college level before you take on the gauntlet of the SEC.
I've heard it said a number of different ways. It's a gauntlet. I remember Mike Neighbors, who's in studio with us throughout the season, talked about it's kind of like an Iditarod, but like for those who are casual fans that don't quite appreciate or know to what extent the SEC is like, why is it like that? Well, here's a great example. You think about the net rankings, right? The SEC is 36, leading all the Power 4 conferences. Only, Carolyn, 4 teams outside that net top 35.
Well, I think the commitment that universities have made to women's basketball has allowed the SEC to attract some of the best talent in the country. And it's not just to one team. I mean, back in the day, everybody wanted to go to Tennessee, and that was maybe Tennessee, Alabama.
Let's
Auburn,
go 6.
Georgia
Come on,
were the top
Divine.
teams. Well, now you go 1 through 10. I mean, you look at Oklahoma signs a player like Aaliyah Chavez, the freshman, super freshman. that is a point guard for them. Michaela Blake's now playing at Vanderbilt. I mean, there's great talent across this league.
Which makes it all the more difficult, right? Like, we're still trying to figure out over the last few weeks of the regular season who will be the regular season champ. Right now, South Carolina with a 2-game cushion over Tennessee, but they go head-to-head today.
Listen, the committee has got to watch the SEC. They can't just look at records. They have got to watch the talent that is on the floor, because when you've got 2 ranked teams going against each other, somebody's got to lose. So you cannot hold teams' records against them, because they have no choice. They've got to play each other in the same conference.
Well, you look at just LSU and their 3 losses this season, right? It was a buzzer beater to Kentucky to start out SEC play, a 4-point ball game earlier in the year against.
Lost to Kentucky, lost to Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, thank you.
Yeah.
It was 4 points to Vanderbilt, and then you look at this Texas loss. I mean, all within striking distance and all within a minute of the third. Great feed and find from my Joyner to her post buddy, Grace Knox.
It was a good thing that LSU broke that press, because I saw the mercury going up on Kim Mulkey across the court.
And turning up the heat was MILESTONE Flau'jae on defense. The block from behind. And swatting it out of there. Another look.
Oh, she timed that one.
Flau'jae, who has some ooh-ah moments on both ends of the floor. Spin move. And Lay is fouled. Addie Lay, who had some foul trouble in the first half, was limited. And now she'll go to the free throw line as Bella Hines whistled for her 4th personal foul. So Lay, who came in as an all-rookie selection out of the CAA a season ago from Towson, gets her first point of the afternoon.
Yeah, she's been relatively quiet. This is a young woman that averages about 9 points a game. She also, getting on the glass, has not been as efficient as she has in previous games.
Deflected by Coulibaly, runs into the table. Flau'jae gets it, drops it off. Nice dime to Mama.
Thought we were going to get behind the back there
Right.
for a minute. She showed it and then had other options.
Fading away, tough shot for Coulibaly. And that takes us to the end of the third. We talk about that ooh-wee sauce that MILESTONE Flau'jae puts on passes. We go to the fourth, come back with them.
When the heck did Bella get 4 fouls? Like, huh? Two in the second, 2 in the third? Dang. Have we seen anybody from LSU foul out all season? I really don't think so. Yeah, I'm looking at this stat sheet. I'm like, huh? 4 fouls for Bella. Mulkey clearly not taking her out, but yeah, that's weird. Foul trouble 4 and 3. Z is so good for us continuously. Efficiency of 20. Mhm. And we're doing better on layups, 11 for 23 now.
Gamecocks head to Baton Rouge for a top 5 tilt with LSU.
Match it up. This is going to be a good one.
We love an epic SEC Saturday matchup. South Carolina, LSU, Saturday at 8:30 on ABC.
Oh yeah, we're gonna
My breath just went out
love
my
that
body.
matchup on Valentine's Day from Baton Rouge. Right now, the LSU Tigers have led from the start of this game over Auburn. Let's take a look at the top 5 in the SEC standings because these get a little interesting. Why? When you look at the strength of schedule of those top 5 teams, no let up. Vandy has the toughest road, the second toughest schedule, but LSU right there at the 15th toughest.
Well, I'm keeping an eye on this Tennessee-South Carolina game because that's 1 and 2 in the SEC seedings right now. South Carolina's up 25-18. So that will, if Tennessee can hang around, if they can pull off a comeback in South Carolina, that would make things real interesting in the SEC.
Well, the Lady Vols will host Missouri and Texas next Sunday. We'll be there for that one in Knoxville. And then a tough one at Ole Miss, A&M. And they'll travel to Oklahoma and see LSU before it's all said and done and close out with Vandy. So, again,
I go back to that Vanderbilt team. They've got Oklahoma on Monday. So you got Michaela Blake's on the outside for Vandy. You got Reagan Spears inside for Oklahoma. So it's going to be a matter of, does Oklahoma win the paint with the addition of Aaliyah Chavez,
right,
who can look, when she gets out of the car, she is open. But another point guard in Aubrey Galvin for Vanderbilt to go alongside Michaela Blake. So that's going to be a good one. I'm getting back to Nashville tonight. I will be at that game tomorrow.
Oh,
I just get to
have a front row seat.
I'm just a spectator tomorrow.
Okay. Just watching the Doors try to do their thing. I mean, they started out the season at 20-0. They had one of the last 2 undefeated teams in women's basketball. Michaela Blake, as you mentioned, been outstanding. SEC leading scorer in the conversation for not only player of the year in the conference, but in the country. I can't even say that there is one particular player that stands out over the other in terms of that conversation for SEC player of the year.
Yeah.
This season.
There's a lot of options to pull from, but you're talking about Vandy's improvement. I think that, yes, you've got Michaela Blakes and Aubrey Galvin. They have Sasha Washington back, but I think the play of Justine Passat,
those quick hands that she has, great anticipation.
One of the things that Kim Mulkey talks to her team about defensively is get your nose on the basketball. And you watch Malaysia Fulwiley, when her assignment is dribbling the basketball, she's always like planning little chess of when my opportunity is to take it.
So LSU's doubled up the lead here. And then Kim Mulkey asking for an appeal, second coach's appeal of the game for LSU, successful in her first try, and she'll get another crack at it here.
The out-of-bounds play has been appealed by LSU.
In the SEC, our football stadiums literally shake the earth, but our impact means so much more. More billions pumped into our state economies. More students from around the country and the globe attracted to SEC campuses, epicenters for teaching, research, and service. More medical pioneers, entrepreneurs, and international scholars. More Pulitzer and Nobel Prize winners. Once you learn how much more there is
outside, man, I'm gone, never home. Yeah, you throw me out, but you kinda put it on. Diamonds always hitting, I'm like, can y'all get along? Yeah, no filter face, got it. Everything straight, got it. Everything eight, got it. Nail face, lace body, AMG's big body. I ain't even trip body. Everyone on wit body. Can you get this lit, doubt it? I know I'm the one they want to beat though. You know what I'm on, body natural, but it's Tito. And they know you my baby, let's just keep it on the D-Lo. And yeah, I know we cool, but it ain't much I do for free though. And yeah, we at the red light, act up, window down, black truck, 50 feet back up, 100 deep, packed up, dread head tacked up.
Every fun players to watch, Carolyn. She was all over the floor.
The energy that she plays with on the floor, and the eight rebounds she has. I think that's the biggest part of her game that Kim Mulkey is happy with. And efficient as well. I mean, 5'9" and being an undersized post player. Yeah, she's put it in today. Look, this is a player also that's got range.
Yep.
She's 2 for 2 on the season from the three-point line. It was that Alabama game, drew up a play.
They had that camera all up in Z-face, bro.
She knocked it down.
Pretty girl go to LSU.
In double figures for Auburn Johnson in SEC play. Another successful challenge, and coming out of the timeout, Grace Knox puts
nice
you on
play
the board for the Tigers.
Like, that's doing what you're supposed to do. Out of a timeout, there's no need to turn the ball over. You better execute it perfectly when you're coming right out of a little break with the ability to draw things up.
And heave that one into the stands. And the turnover there for Auburn. Joe. Daniels takes it away. Shaeeta Daniels out of Auburn, Alabama, gets the ball back and front irons the three. Burge, who already knocked down the three, finds Bella Hines. Good ball movement. Open look. Flau'jae can't hit. Snuffing out that all board. Maya Joyner. Flau'jae again puts it right there in the hands of my Joyner. Just the quickness that you see with MILESTONE Flau'jae, and just how quickly the ball just leaves her hands.
She came to LSU so that she could really learn to play at that point position and making decisions. And look, it's trial and error, but that's the only way you learn is through experience. And she's getting a lot of that with LSU.
Grace Knox comes up with it, running the floor as My Joyner, and thrown over the head of My Joyner.
The look on Kim Mulkey's face with that turnover is like unnecessary. It was amazing. Like, she just cannot believe it.
And the whistle on the floor. Foul called against LSU. And there's Frank Sterator, cousin of Gene Sterator. You talk about Super Bowl Sunday. His cousin was a referee in Super Bowl 52. So was a basketball official as well.
Who you got winning tonight, Tiff?
I got the Patriots. I think the Patriots are bad.
Yeah.
You
I'm going
too?
to have to go with you on that.
Yeah.
Vrabel was coach at the Tennessee Titans. Couldn't get it done, but goes to the Patriots.
Where he played and won.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Went back to familiar territory.
Yeah, no doubt. The question is, are the Super Bowl commercials going to be exciting? Last year I felt a little let down. There's none that really stick out in my mind. You know, it used to be where, you know, you had the frogs, but I can't say it on there. I should stop right there. But certain ones just stood out. I enjoy watching the Super Bowl not only for the game, but also for the commercials.
Well, I think some of the commercials that got leaked out early where you used to have to wait until the Super Bowl. Now you get the advanced reveal. It doesn't have that same hype.
No. Just a reminder, Super Bowl is on ESPN and ABC next year. Meanwhile, when you are flipping up and down the channels this afternoon, SEC basketball just doesn't let up, right? There's Georgia, Missouri coming up after us. We already talked about South Carolina, Tennessee in action right now.
So I got to check the scores on that one.
Yeah.
So South Carolina up 7, 36-29. I thought it may be a 3-point barrage from Tennessee. Right now, they've only they're 4 of 10. South Carolina's 2 for 4. Tessa Johnson has hit 1. And Isla McDowell has hit 1.
How about Florida picking up a win? That was the game prior to us coming on the air.
Let me tell you that Alabama, Texas A&M had a really good scout on South Carolina. I mean, they kept it close and were in striking distance there for a while till they turned the ball over, some shots stopped falling.
And a lot of contact right in front of us as Caitlin Duhan, Bella Hines both go to the floor hard. Foul whistled against Duhan, her second. And when Coach Larry Vickers just talked about just the team and how it's built, he talked about Caitlin Duhan being one of those important leaders for him, setting the example, coming in every day, being committed to the program the way that she is.
She was on that Auburn team that beat LSU a couple of years ago.
She's got those intangibles, and you see the numbers that have risen not only in points, but also in steals per game, one of the top 5 in the conference. And he said, look, she could be, although maybe on the outside or an outlier, but could be one of those names in consideration for Defensive Player of the Year. Megan Yarnovich, who is in the ball game now, call for the traveling violation. One of the 5 freshmen for Kim Mulkey out of Pontiac, Michigan.
She one of the hardest workers at practice last night.
Yeah.
I mean, she posted it up big every play, every drill, going 100%. Number 15 in purple.
Did not play last game, so getting some action now in the closing minutes of this one.
And that's the 18th turnover for Auburn.
Looking inside, Yarnovich. High off, no. Kate Koval had her hands around it. So did some Auburn players. And it's going to be Auburn Tiger basketball. Off the jump ball. We talked about just looking ahead, SEC tournament, then the NCAA tournament. In your opinion, and I've heard different answers from different coaches, is it more important to win the SEC tournament, or not more important, but do you have more stock in the SEC tournament, or do you just kind of look ahead to the NCAA tournament?
Well, here's the difference. And when I coached with Pat Summit, she used to always say winning the SEC tournament was harder than winning a national championship, because when you're playing in the NCAA tournament, you got that day in between. The SEC tournament, it keeps coming. So especially for the teams that are not in that first four, like you've got to win 3 to 4 days in a row, back to back, against some of the top talent in the country.
That's why it's going to be so important the rest of the way for LSU to try to win out as best as possible so they can try to move into a top 4 position. Remember, 1 through 4 gets a double bye in the SEC tournament, so they give themselves a little extra rest, 1 extra day of rest.
Now that game day when South Carolina goes to Baton Rouge, that's the next game for the LSU Tigers. And
you want to know what's crazy? That's also during Mardi Gras.
Let me tell you something. And listen, Kim Mulkey feels for the students. Just get there early. Want to get as many of them in the arena as early as possible. She's looking up for them because we were just there when LSU played Mississippi State, and they were lined up outside before that game. So can you imagine when it's game day and South Carolina's in town? Can somebody bring me a king cake?
Oh, yes. Now, we learned not all king cakes are created equally.
Oh, no. No.
Okay.
Now, I had one with Kim Mulkey that had a strawberry cream on the inside.
Okay.
I'm salivating thinking about that one right now. So good.
My statistician, Alan Thrifley, is from New Orleans. Hopefully he can hook us up with a king cake. Just throwing it out there now.
Now, if you find the baby, you have to provide the king cake the next year.
Okay.
I'll eat my way around digging for that.
Tough shot by Coulibaly. And it's going to be LSU basketball. Bella Hines, no. Kate Koval, we'll get a couple of shots. Koval, who's got a little blood on her face near her nose, and her teammates trying to help her out right there. Came over from Notre Dame. And just another post body for Kim Mulkey. Well, gymnastics takes over the SEC network every Friday night, and we'll have another great doubleheader for you. It's Missouri at Kentucky, the 7th-ranked Tigers out of Como, and then Auburn will travel to LSU on the mats.
Let me tell you, watching those gymnastic meets, I love the floor exercises and the music interpretation.
Yeah.
Wow. And then the flips that they can do. Holy cow.
I saw Morgan Price, who was a part of Fisk's gymnastics team. That was the first HBCU to have a gymnastics program, stretching out that scoring margin that they have been so good at this season. 19th win by 20 points or more. And this one, the 15th 30-point win of the season for Kim Mulkey's crew. Well, you think Aubrey Johnson, the job that she did this afternoon, 16 points, 8 rebounds. Michaela Williams, who really got the party started. Another good afternoon from her as well.
Well, LSU, they enjoy this victory because there is no easy competition the rest of the way as they finish out the SEC. And they got to face South Carolina next.
For Carolyn, Peck, and the rest of our great crew, I'm Tiffany Greene saying, we out from Auburn, as we'll send it back to the studio with Peter and Steffi.
Thank you, Tiff. Welcome to SEC Now, as we got just.
All right, y'all. That is it. LSU beats Auburn 77-44. Our next game is this Saturday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. LSU versus South Carolina at 7:30 p.m. I will be streaming that game. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to be notified when I do go live. So, yep, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all night. Be safe, and I will see you then. Let me play our video. Oh, also, it is Anissa Morrow, Captain Week. She is captain for her team this week. It's going to be Team Rhythm, and this is who she selected. She is the captain because she's been doing so amazing in AU. With LSU not playing this week, we don't have no Thursday game. I may attempt to check out AU again, maybe try to bring the screen a little bit closer or something, you know what I mean? Because I definitely want to support Anissa as a captain. So, yep, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of y'all week. I will see you if I stream. If not, definitely Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Central. Have a wonderful night and see you later. Bye.